my self-worth, my confidence has skyrocketed. No longer do I need to smoke weed to be happier, to heal my mental health. No, it's all within. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ignite the World podcast. This is episode number 46. Snoop Dogg quit smoking weed, and so should you. I am your host, Jamie Dottie Garza. Welcome back, everybody. And can you guess what I'm going to be speaking about today? Weed, marijuana, cannabis, that good, gas, boof, whatever slang you may call it. I know you guys probably heard it was big news, and as it should be, because Snoop Dogg has been a prolific icon figure in our lives. I know, especially for me, my first song was a rap song hearing. Well, I should say second. First, it was MC Hammer, Can't Touch This. That's another thing. But my first rap song was Nothing But a G Thing. And it featured Snoop Dogg making a cameo, of course. And then, of course, Gin and Juice, which is like one of my most favorite songs ever. And that was back in, 93, 94? I was like maybe 4 years old. He's still relevant now. He's getting in a bag. He is putting out music. He is in like every commercial. He's endorsing Skechers. He's everywhere. That's how you stay relevant. But one of the big things about Snoop Dogg has been his fact of just condoning and endorsing weed since back in the 90s. He's been an ambassador for weed for a long time. So when he said he was quitting, it sparked a lot of awareness. It sparked a lot of communication, especially in the rap hip hop world. There was a few people like Meek Mill and I think Coi Leray who said they were going to quit. And honestly, me going to my timeline of Facebook friends, I had some say they were considering quitting, which I applaud. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because I too have indulged in my fair share of smoking cannabis, smoking weed throughout my years. Now, the reason why I want to make this video and this podcast is because I am 3 days away from completely eliminating marijuana in my life, smoking in my life. And I want to share my perspective because one of the reasons why I am creating this platform and one of the reasons why I feel like God has chosen me is because I made a commitment to myself that I would share the raw of where I used to fall short. We all know I fell short with alcohol, with nicotine addiction, and now I have a realization that I fell short in smoking marijuana. And I'm not here to knock marijuana. I know some people use it as therapy. I know some people use it for medicinal reasons. But I also know some people are just flat out addicted. It's one of those type of drugs. And I've been smoking marijuana. I've always been off and on. I remember I think I first smoked when I was like 15 and I didn't like it. It got me paranoid. And once I felt my heart beat, I was like, no, sir, I do not want to smoke this again. But then as I grew up older, I started chilling with more friends. I tried it again. And then I would go in spurts. You know, I would smoke just to have a good time, to laugh, to the munchies, right? These are like before I was 20. And then I'd take some years off. Then I would get back on it. And then weed always has been like something that was in phases with me. Like I never got hooked. And I always fell back from it once I realized I was buying a lot more, when I was just fiending to roll up or fiending to take a hit, or realizing that, hey, I'm using this every day. That's pretty much my journey. But it wasn't until it became like legalized, especially near my area, I would say like last year, I would say 2021, around the tail end of that. And it started with just being able to have easier access without, being scared that I was going to get in trouble because it became legal. There was dispensaries in DC, and, I had a quality connection. And I was using it at the time to quote unquote ease my mind, to help with my mental health, to relax me. I was using this to get away pretty much. And these are reflections now, being almost a year of completely giving up marijuana. Now, I will say, I love the smell of it. I could smell some gas when it's lit in the area. I went to WWE Raw last week with my boys last Monday. Shout out to main event Jay Uso. Y'all see this shirt real quick. Gotta flex that. And I was taking my kids. We are going to the event at the Capital One Center in DC. And I was like, smells like gas. Smells like good gas. As my kids would say, oh, it smells like pressure. They smell it, like I have a nose of a bloodhound for it. And it's an enjoyable smell for me. However, I am happy that I quit. At the recording of this, I heard that Snoop Dogg was capping. I heard that he didn't really quit. It was part of a promotion or publicity stunt, which is kind of sad because I really enjoy seeing the conversations and the discussions about others who want to quit smoking weed. And that's why I wanted to create this. I want to be a positive force that quitting smoking weed has been a top tier decision that I made in my life. Not only for myself, but someone who is a father, someone who is an active leader, someone who has discipline, who's always constantly wants to be better than the version I was yesterday. But more importantly, it was a decision made because as I went on my journey of being born again, I was delivered from this. And the Holy Spirit convicted me to stop. And that's exactly what happened. I went cold turkey. I quit around Thanksgiving of last year. And I want to share that with you guys. It was tough because, a lot of holiday functions, I'm used to, family members rolling one up, bonding with them over them. And I'm used to also letting my mind be free and just, being in la la land. But I got convicted last Thanksgiving and I went cold turkey. And it wasn't necessarily hard. It's just like everything else. It just takes discipline and just knowing that you're going to be a better person at the end. I know there's some people who misconstrue some of the things in the Bible and try to advocate that it's okay because, it's a herb and there's a passage in there talking about herbs, but I don't see anything in there that directly correlates to actually smoking that herb for betterment of self. And I had some deep epiphanies with that. And I realized I was letting this thing, marijuana at the time, really control me. And oftentimes it felt like I was opening doors that I did not want opened. And to me, it no longer became just a place to leave and escape, but it was really keeping me in bondage. There's a quote that always says, like, too much of anything could be bad for you. And that's what I was feeling with weed. It wasn't just a recreational thing where, hey, you gather with some family members for a holiday, smoke a little bit, have munchies, feel good time. It was becoming more, okay, I'm going to do this on the weekend. Okay, I'm going to do this after a wedding because it also numbs my back. All these excuses I was saying, right? It became like, what if I just do it at the end of the day? And I remember it got to a point where like I was smoking, joints like almost 4 or 5 days a week. It was always, once I had a lot, because I never bought a lot. I never bought like ounces, but I remember when I bought my first ounce, I felt like a rapper. So I was like just trying to smoke as much as I can. And my tolerance was going up, so I was smoking more. And it was really all the goals that I had in mind that I needed to get done. It like made everything just go on float mode. And I realized it was not keeping me as productive. And in my head, I was having this narrative that I needed this marijuana, I needed this weed to be happier, to help with my mental health, to do all these things when looking back, it was a lie. And I'm just grateful that I had been delivered from this. And the reason I'm making this, I'm not thinking I'm better than anyone. I want to paint the picture for anyone out there who has thought about quitting. Maybe you heard Snoop Dogg was quitting and maybe you want to try it. Or maybe you're trying to listen to yourself as you continue to grow. Maybe you are outgrowing it. Maybe like you want to see what your life is without weed. I know that's what happened with me. And I don't get cravings back to spark one up or to go out and buy some or to hit a J. I don't get those feelings no more because I can completely rely on God to guide me everywhere. Every problem that I do have, hey, guess what? I have to pray about it. Hey, I got to get through it. There's no crutch. It's being a man, in my opinion. And that's exactly what my life has been. Like, since I quit smoking weed, let me tell you the benefits, because there's been a lot of benefits. My mental health, something that has been troublesome for me, especially after 2021. I say that a lot, and that's like that's my story. That's like one of the reasons why I'm creating content like this, because I had a very dark time. Quitting weed has increased my mental health. It has improved my physical health. I'm no longer winded or coughing up a lung when I'm playing tag with my kids. It has also given me a lot of strength to go walking every day of the week, Monday through Friday, do my pull-ups, commit to a regimen where I can stay accountable, because I no longer get pointless munchies. So I've been able to diet better. I've been able to cut sugar. Right now, I'm currently 20 days without sugar. I've been able to stay committed to my fasting. I've been able to commit to not putting junk in my body, so it's making me better. That's been over the course of the year. My finances have improved. When I'm performing at this high level of owning my business and also being a community leader, I don't have time to play games. I have to stay focused. I have to stay clear-headed. I make a lot of big decisions each and every day, and I can't have room for error by smoking weed and having that clouded vision. My use of time has been remarkable. I have found time to really dissect what really means most to me. And it's not lingering around, wasting my time watching a movie. If I have certain goals, or if I want to better myself, or if I know I need to take this class and learn, I'm going to learn it. When I want to read more and become more, have more wisdom and be more knowledgeable, I read my books. Yes, I do decompress, but I'm not decompressing when I'm playing a video game for 6 hours when I know I got things to do because I'm the man of the house. As a man of the house, guess what? There's more responsibility for me. Guess what? Daddy got to pay the bills. Guess what? Daddy owns his own business, so I got to make some offers. Guess what? I got to move. And speaking of moving, I become a great influence for my kids. Now, I know one day my kids might want to experiment, or they might go down a road where they try marijuana. I get it. I too went down that road. But at least I can say like, hey, I was in your position, kind of like I'm making this video, but I also fell back from it and I stayed not smoking. So leading as an example, which is one of my main reasons why I want to be the best version of man I can be. The biggest aha for me, though, a huge epiphany, as you would say, of my self-worth, my confidence has skyrocketed. No longer do I need to smoke weed to be happier, to enjoy playing video games, to let myself be free, to heal my mental health. No, it's all within. It's all because of God. And that's a euphoric high within itself. Just knowing that nothing else is controlling to this, knowing that I can be delivered, that God is great, that he can save. That's been the biggest aha for me. You know, when I know a lot of small business owners around town, and there was one lady who we went to her house one time. She was having a kickback, and I noticed she had marijuana. She was growing marijuana plants in her backyard. And this is someone who was like in her 70s, about to retire, you know, living the life. So it was really, that's what made me think like, oh, it's okay. Well, if she does it, well, probably maybe a lot of other my small business community friends do it too. There was a gentleman who I knew would smoke a lot, and that was kind of like his persona. Very successful local business. So these things were kind of like gearing in my mind that it was okay to indulge, or in my case, overindulge, which became an issue for me when I was going, reading up, buying more weed more often every week. And I remember my son one day was like, because I was saying I was go smoke, I would say I was taking out the trash. And my youngest was like, why is daddy taking so long to smoke the trash? What is that smell? And that's when I was like, I had to reevaluate myself because, I guess I got embarrassed. I didn't want to explain that daddy was smoking weed or smoking anything, and I remember me growing up, I had uncles and they have friends, and I remember, this is a holiday story. I'm going to share it with you guys. I remember having a Charlie horse, and I always saw my uncle's friends and stuff be like, hey, you want to smoke some weed? And I would use like a pen. And I remember one day I said that. My grandma she said, what you say, Mule? And I was like, hey, I'm just asking if he wants to smoke some weed. I was doing that. And, it's, I was influenced back then. So it is different now that I'm getting older, and I'm just saying how grateful I am to be able to be delivered and kick this habit. Does weed feel cool? Of course. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But it's so easy to get tricked and go down a rabbit hole where you think you need it to function every day. I know some people like that. I know a lot of people who smoke weed every day to function, to get through their day. Quitting weed, it doesn't make you crazy. It doesn't make you seem less cool. It's fine. I don't get no peer pressure. Someone asks me for a joint. No, I'm good. Thank you. It passes. No one questions me about it. Like, it's not like, oh, you being a wuss, this and that. Look, I'm a grown man. I got a lot to lose. I got a lot to gain too. And I'm keeping this as my temple. I want to protect my temple as much as I can. What you going to say after that? I got big goals I want to accomplish. I'm good. Good off that. Been there, done that. Fine. Rise above. Ignite the world. That's all I have for you guys. I just want to share this topic. I know it's bubbling. I know a lot of people are talking about it. I pray that Snoop Dogg does quit one day because, you don't know what's in the weed no more. I was talking to my wife about that. I remember growing up, all we had was Reggie, dime sacks, nickel bags. It wasn't no loud. It wasn't no exotic. It wasn't no za. It was just Reggie. I remember those. I would be smacked in the eye for a long time. Eyes all glazed. Now we don't know what's in it. Got GMOs in it. You got extra preservatives to make it more drugs, additives. We don't know what's in it. What's it being cut by? And that's one of the real reasons I thought why Snoop quit smoking. I was like, oh, he must know something I don't know. But again, we don't know. And that's the thing. You don't know what really you're putting in your body, how it's grown, what's being added, all that energy. You don't know what's being smoked. And one thing I've learned as a man, I'm going to share this before I'm out, like I'm a married man, right? I'm devoted to my queen. I don't want to fall short of anything of lust. One thing I know about smoking weed, it's an opportunity for the enemy to come knocking, to expose you as your faults as a man, to open up doors that maybe he didn't want open. It's just another opportunity to get taken out. Weed, alcohol, all those vices I'm mentioning, which I am working and continuing to get past. After recording this podcast, your boy's 580 days sober, no alcohol. I'm on the verge of 365 days, no weed. I'm over maybe 4 years, 3 years, I don't know, not smoking cigarettes. It's all progress within self. But I'm someone who used to do these very, very often in my 20s. I just want to be inspiration. It's hope for anybody out there. And encourage anyone out there who is thinking about quitting smoking weed. Try it. Do it. Try it. You never gonna know. See what it can unlock for you. The gifts have been unlocked for me. I'm just a messenger at this point. Just remember, we're all like sticks of dynamite. The power's on the inside, but nothing happens until the fuse gets lit. Ignite the world.